This is Ag Matters PM from the Iowa Agribusiness Radio Network, brought to you by the Iowa Soybean Association, your daily recap of the information that affects Iowa's farmers, producers, and consumers, right here in the heart of the heartland. With reports from our award-winning broadcast team of Dustin Hoffman, Riley Smith, and Mark Magnuson. Now, from the IARN studios in Des Moines, here's Riley Smith.
Well, good day and welcome to Ag Matters PM from the Iowa Agribusiness Radio Network. I'm Riley Smith. Today is Thursday, October 20th, 2022. We're so glad you can join us today. In today's episode of Ag Matters PM, I talk with Iowa State Fair CEO Gary Slater, who just recently announced his retirement, so we reflected on his 2 decades with the Iowa State Fair. We also have a look at that ag weather outlook, but first, let's run down the markets.
It's time now for the Ag Matters PM Closing Market Summary, your source for market analysis and settlement prices from the day's trade in Chicago, courtesy of the folks at agmarket.net.
Well, we're at the end of another trading day in the ag marketplace, and for a bit of analysis, we go to Tyler Schau of agmarket.net. First off, Tyler, what did we see going on in the grains today?
Pretty good, solid day. Everything was in the green today for once this week, which is kind of a nice change of pace. Morning started off. We got a couple new flash sale reports on some soybeans to China and to unknown again. And actually before that, we got the weekly sales, export sales report. And for beans, one of the better numbers we've seen so far this export year, about 2.3 million metric tons were exported or were sold in the last week. We had heard about half of them through flash sales. So flash sales, anything over 100,000 metric tons. So you don't hear about some of the smaller ones, and this export sales kind of catches those. So we're doing quite a bit of business. There was, again, some rumblings of possibly some more Chinese buying going on in the soybean market today, which ended up pushing November beans up 18.5 cents. We closed about $13.91, struggling to get above that $14 mark in both November and January. But it'll be interesting to see as we start to hear, if we get confirmation on some of these rumors that Chinese were buying again from the U.S. The river story is well known. We're having troubles getting them out, but they're still finding ways to buy them, probably through the Pacific Northwest. So that's creating some opportunity there in the soybean market. Corn kind of following along, up about a nickel across the board. And wheat closed up about a dime across all 3 contracts today.
Now, of course, for a while, we were a little worried about export sales. They were quieter than we usually see at this time of year. But, like you said, they've kind of picked up recently. So do we think with the sales that we've seen last week and then again this week with the flash sales that we might finally have a consistent flow of exports going now?
That's the great debate. If you look compared to last year where we were in this marketing year, we're actually ahead of last year's pace, even though the USDA's guess or for total exports is smaller than last year. That river is going to be the wild card. It's going to be difficult to get those bushels down the Mississippi River. That is not changing. That's not getting any better. We still are needing considerable rainfall to help ease that situation. Right now, it doesn't seem to be in the forecast. So that's going to be a struggle. How we're able to keep up throughout the remainder of this fall, winter, and next spring is really going to tell the course as to how we're able to meet that export demand. But the one thing that is showing is world buyers are starting to get nervous about the ability to source these grains in the coming year. We're currently predicting a very large crop out of Brazil, but it doesn't take a very small setback in that crop with any type of weather issues to really change some stuff in the world balance sheet. And I think a lot of the buyers are starting to look at that drought map that keeps coming out in the U.S. 80% of the continental U.S. currently experiencing some sort of drought, and it is October. So, if you're going to have a drought, the winter is the best time to have it. But at the same token, this is not a good spot to be looking out into 2023 right now.
All right. And what do we see on the other side of the marketplace in the livestock complex?
Livestock have been pretty good this week. Fat cattle really moving up. We've had our 4th day in a row of stronger closes in the fat cattle market. December cattle's pushing up against the highs set back in mid-September up there at above 152. We're hearing a lot of stories of really good bids by packers out there to feed yards at 150 plus in the north anyhow. In the south, they're getting closer to 150, 148, 147. We heard some bids down there. In some cases, the feedlots are rejecting the bids. They're not taking them. They're trying to use what leverage they've got now. It feels kind of like the feeders have got the leverage and the negotiation. I think packers are running low on the ability to kill or find kill-ready cattle, and they need to kill them. Box beef prices are strong again, so packers are going to start paying up. This could be that time that and I work with a lot of ranchers, and they've been telling me for the last year that cattle prices are going to go high. They're going to go high, and maybe this might be the tipping point where we finally are running short on that supply of kill-ready cattle, and the packers are really going to have to start bidding it up. So that's been pretty good. Hogs staying strong. They're pushing back closer to $90. We had that big sell-off there mid-September through the 1st of October. We've kind of reversed it. We're almost kind of getting back to our mid-September highs. Their exports on hogs were pretty good again today. And so, any case, whether you're a hog producer or a cattle producer, I think now merits some of that time to be looking at some type of risk management strategy, buying puts, using the LRP, something of that nature.
All right, Tyler. Well, lots of great information today. For those of our listeners and our viewers who would like to get in touch and learn more from the folks at agmarket.net, how can they do that?
Check us out on our website, agmarket.net. There's a contact page. There's a spot you can sign up for our Ag Intel. We publish a lot of information, gets sent to your email daily, weekly, and monthly. And if you need to get a hold of me, call 701-987-6009.
All right, Tyler, well, it's been great speaking with you as always, and we look forward to talking with you again real soon.
You bet. Take care.
That again was Tyler Schau of agmarket.net. We'll go ahead and take a look at how those numbers closed. That's courtesy of the folks at Bar Chart. December corn is up 5 3/4 at $6.84 even. November soybeans up 19 even at $13.91 1/2. Soybean meal up 10.20 at $406.80. Soybean oil down 7 cents at $67.94. Chicago wheat up 8 even at $8.49 1/4. Minneapolis spring wheat up 9 even at $9.62 1/2. Kansas City hard red wheat up 8 even at $9.49 3/4. December oats up 3/4 cent at $3.75 1/2. On the Merc, October live cattle up 42 at $149.77. October feeders up 35 at $175.57. Lean hogs down 35 at $87.02. Pork cutout up 12 at $97 even. And Class 3 milk up 8 cents at $21.83. And that's been a check of the markets here on Ag Matters PM. We're going to go ahead and take a quick break to hear from our sponsor, the Iowa Soybean Association and the Soy Checkoff. When we come back, I visit with Iowa State Fair CEO Gary Slater as he reflects on his time as CEO. This has been Ag Matters PM.
Iowa Soybean Association is driven to deliver for Iowa's 40,000 soybean farmers. We're proud to provide objective agronomic research, a helping hand with soil and water stewardship, and timely industry news powered by the Soybean Checkoff. Learn more at iasoybeans.com.
Welcome back to Ag Matters PM from the Iowa Agribusiness Radio Network. I'm Riley Smith. Well, recently, Iowa State Fair CEO Gary Slater announced that he is retiring after 21 years with the country's greatest state fair. With the consistent success the fair sees every year, he felt that now was a good time to finally pass the torch and enjoy his summers with his family as another fairgoer. Slater's tenure will be remembered for the steady growth year to year, especially in attendance, and for staying strong through the pandemic and the challenges that were presented by the cancellation of the 2020 Iowa State Fair. However, Iowa State Fair CEO is not the only title Slater has held during his career, as he had quite a journey all the way up to there, just throughout the Midwest. So as I talked with Slater, we just kind of reflected on his journey and how he got to be the CEO of the State Fair and some of his favorite memories during that time. Well, we are here at the Iowa State Fairgrounds with Iowa State Fair CEO Gary Slater, who just recently announced his retirement this year. And of course, you've been State Fair CEO for, was it 21 years? Is that what it was? So been around the block for the state fair a few times, and that chapter is coming to an end. So first off, maybe let's talk a little bit on your journey to how you got to be the state fair CEO.
It started probably a long time ago, back right out of college. I was a fieldman for the Black Pole and China breed of hogs, and I enjoyed doing that a lot, but through some of my contacts, I heard that there was a position open at the Missouri State Fair at the entry department, kind of called the livestock supervisor, and coming from a farming background and showing hogs at the Missouri State Fair in FFA and then in the open class, that really intrigued me. And so I applied for that and got that position. So I did that for 5 years, working for the Department of Ag for the Missouri state of Missouri at the Missouri State Fair. Contacts and relationships are everything. And the manager of the Missouri State Fair at that time was Marion Lucas. Marion Lucas, right after I had been there 5 years, applied and became the manager of the Iowa State Fair. And I went back to college, got a master's degree in food science and nutrition. But when I got out of that, there was a position open at the Iowa State Fair in sponsorship solicitation. And Mr. Lucas made me aware of that, and I was fortunate enough to get that job. Well, when you work at the Missouri State Fair, then you work at the Iowa State Fair, and I did that for 5 more years. It just really kind of gets in your blood, and I enjoyed the event type of work that related planning all year long for a 11-day event. Seemed to be something that some people think would be terrible. I always enjoyed it, and I always enjoyed having the gates open on that opening day and all of the things that go into that. So fast forward a little bit, I left the Iowa State Fair, went to the National Pork Producers Council in charge of World Pork Expo. But then I went back to the Missouri State Fair when they were looking for a director or a manager, as we call it at Iowa. And I got that position just a short 4 years later. Mr. Marion Lucas, who I'd worked for twice before, retired. And of course I was in the hunt for the Iowa State Fair job because I just truly believed that the Iowa State Fair was the ultimate for me. And I was fortunate enough 21 years ago to get that job, been here ever since.
Right, and of course, in that amount of time, the state fair has changed a lot. Even for a span of 2 decades, it was still a ton of change. What was it like to be in that position as CEO and kind of help to usher in some of that change and watch some of that just kind of happen naturally as well?
Well, the Iowa State Fair is, I think, the best fair in the nation. It sets the standard for all other fairs, and so there is a little of that in that we are the icon of state fairs throughout so some of that success comes to you, but we also work hard for it. The Iowa State Fair has a lot of advantages. We're at the crossroads of 2 major interstates crisscrossing the United States. We're in the largest city in Iowa, the capital city of Iowa, and we're easy to get to here on the east side of Des Moines. We have the infrastructure in the city to have about 13,000 hotel rooms now. Back 20 years ago, probably 7,000 or 8,000 hotel rooms, but that really translates into being able to house your crowd for that, and that helps a lot. If you look around at other events, you need that infrastructure to continue to grow. So once we established that, and we knew that we had a good quality event. I believe in free entertainment that goes along with your price of admission, and we were able to fix up a few buildings. So one thing kind of leads to another. So once you fix up one, then people start looking at the next one that needs fixing up and offering their support, offering their help. our foundation has been tremendous in working with private donorship and public funds coming from the state legislature and the governor's office in helping us. And of the $200 million that the foundation has raised in 29 years that they've been in existence, about 2/3 of that has been public funds, but 1/3 of that have been private funds. And I think that's a record that I don't know if anybody else in the United States would have as well.
Right, and of course with all of these modernizations for the fair and kind of, we get more entertainment and such, the heart of the fair has still remained the same, and that's agriculture. And that's really fully on display with, you have livestock barns that are right next to one of the main gates. You have people who are always in the barns watching these shows. And I think especially compared to other fairs as we modernize, we still have that core experience of bringing agriculture and kind of the city entertainment stuff together. And I think that kind of speaks to how you grew up as well. You mentioned that you grew up showing animals, and it's just good to see that has remained such a big part of the state fair.
The state fair is built around agriculture. We're not Adventureland that just has rides and fun. We're not the concert venue of downtown of Wells Fargo. We are a conglomeration of all of those things, but the core of our state fair is agriculture. Our mission includes agriculture in it and ag education. We make sure that we want our fairgoers to know where their food and fiber come from on a daily basis, and so showcasing agriculture and showcasing ag education to those fairgoers are something that are in the principles of the mission that the Iowa State Fair has. So I truly hang my hat on that, and I believe that, when I first got here, I can tell you that people were wondering whether or not 4-H and FFA would survive in the world as it was that day. Well, I can tell you that 4-H and FFA not only survived, but we probably doubled the number of animals and projects shown in both 4-H and FFA since I got here. And I think that is tremendous in saying that we are helping making sure that those rural communities where 4-H and FFA are so strong have a place to showcase their time and efforts and talents as they go through their projects and operational experiences through FFA.
And of course, Gary, I know with 2 decades in your position, there's a ton of memories that you've made and amazing things you've seen. So I'm not going to ask you to pick just one, but what are some of your favorite things that you've seen throughout the fair and got to experience?
Being able to have new facilities is one thing that I'm really proud of, and adding the Animal Learning Center, having the birthing center in the Animal Learning Center for people to participate in the births of live animals on a daily basis during the fair, been something that I think is tremendous. Little Hands on the Farm is right next to it, and there again, that is explaining agriculture to kids 2 to 10 in a way that they can do it, but at the same time, it's their mom, dad, their grandma and grandpa, whoever's taking them through there, they're actually the teachers. So you're actually teaching both at the same time, and that. And some of the more fun experiences have been working with the politicians that have come to the Iowa State Fair. Sitting presidents, my second year here in 2002, George W. Bush came and addressed a crowd here on the fairgrounds, and then a few years later, President Barack Obama came. And just a funny story with with President Obama was that former Governor Tom Vilsack came with him because he was appointed by by President Obama as the Secretary of Agriculture. They came on this big bus and they parked right outside of the main gate on the north side, gate 15, and they came out of the bus and they were going to pay their way into the fair. And the board president, Gary McConnell, and I were standing on the other side of the gate. Well, as the president reached for his billfold, he realized he didn't have a billfold that day. But But Secretary Vilsack said, "That's okay, Mr. President, let me buy today." And so he reached in his pocket and pulled out the money and bought the tickets, and they came through the gate. And I've always thought that was a funny story because the president had no money that day but wanted to pay to get into the fair. So I think that was a good one. But over the years, we've had delegations from Germany to Japan to South Korea, China. Those are great memories. But just the events that we've had, enlarging the grandstand, enable us to have entertainers such as Blake Shelton and Chris Stapleton, Slipknot, bringing back the tractor pull after we created the outdoor entertainment area, or the Elwell Family Park. I think that was a real thrill for us 2 years ago when the tractor pull came back. So those are just some of the things that I think are exciting and fun. But just watching the people come through the gate, watching the kids go down the big slide, or eating a corn dog or an ice cream cone, smiling at their mom and dad because they're having a great day at the fair. Has always been my thought, is that whoever's coming to the fair, I want to make sure that if there's something that I can do to make their day the best day ever, that's what I want to do.
And of course, there's plenty to look forward to in the future with the fair as well. Just recently we announced the theme for next year's fair, which is Best Days Ever, which I think really ties into what we've been talking about today. So, how confident are you in the future of the state fair and just how it will continue to improve?
That played a lot in my decision to retire at this time. I guess I don't know as I could leave the fair in a better position to go forward. We started the $25 million restoration project for the livestock barns, and that will begin this fall and probably be going for the next 4 to 5 years as we fix up the hog barn, the horse barn, the sheep barn, and the swine barn. We also looking at new and different ag entertainment and educational opportunities that maybe will come forth in the next few months or a year or so, and I won't go into the details of that, but I think financially and from the popularity and relativity, and being relative in this day and age with an event is so important, because with the digital age, you can get left in a heartbeat for something that's shinier and newer and better. So we have to be relative, and I think that our attendance shows that we're still very popular. So to me, I think the fair has a wonderful future and will have a wonderful future, and I hope that I've set it up to be successful. And I think that's why I made the decision that it's time for me to step aside and as you said, find that next chapter and see what's in it.
All right, Gary. Well, I'm sure many of us also believe in the future of the fair and look forward to continuing with it for years to come. Is there anything else before we kind of wrap up here that you'd like to leave our listeners and our viewers with, just about the State Fair, your time with it?
Well, I always said that the success of the Iowa State Fair wasn't at the voting ballot like it is for politicians, but it's with people vote with their feet as they come through the front gate. And we've just seen our attendance grow from the 900,000s, mid 900,000s when I got here, to consistently over 1.1 million as I leave. And I just thank the public of Iowa for supporting this fair. It means a lot to so many people in so many different ways. It reaches aspects of people in hundreds of different ways, and there's a niche of people maybe that love this part of the fair, and there's a wealth of people that love another part of the fair, but it all goes together, and it would not be successful if it wasn't a treasure treasured by Iowans.
Well, Gary, it's been a pleasure interviewing you these past couple fairs and just getting your insight on all of this, and just looking forward to you enjoying your retirement, and have a good time at next year's fair too.
I will. Thank you very much.
That again was Iowa State Fair CEO Gary Slater, and we wish him the best as he enters retirement. As for right now, let's go ahead and take a look at that ag weather outlook. Well, today finally we have some seasonal temperatures once again after that very cold stretch that we had for the past few days. Now, starting tomorrow, we're going to have a bit warmer temperatures, and we'll finally warm up even more throughout the weekend, making some nice football watching weather if you'll be doing that. So let's go ahead and take a look at what the National Weather Service has in store for the next 24 hours. As you can see from the National Weather Service, these temperatures are going to start warming up a little bit. Today we've got mostly sunny skies and seasonable temps, highs ranging from the low 60s to low 70s. Tonight we'll have partly cloudy skies and getting a little bit warmer, lows overnight ranging from the upper 30s to low 40s. And tomorrow will be mostly sunny and almost unseasonably warm, with those highs ranging from the low 70s to low 80s. And taking a look at the affiliate weather map, as you can see for tomorrow, Cherokee will be sunny with a high of 72, Shenandoah sunny and 81, here in Des Moines sunny and 78, Waterloo sunny and 74, Albia sunny and 79, and Clinton will see sunny skies with a high around 75. For more detailed forecasts in your part of the state, make sure to check in with your local Iowa Agribusiness Radio Network affiliate. And that's been a check of the Ag Weather Outlook, and that also brings us to the end of this episode of Ag Matters PM. You can find all of our content on our website at iowaagnet.com. You can also follow us on social media at Facebook, Twitter, and TikTok, and you can find all of our video content as well as previous episodes of AM PM on our YouTube channel. So don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell to see when those videos go live. And don't forget as well our free Twice Daily Market podcast on Apple, Amazon, Google, Spotify, and Podbean. From the IARN studios in Des Moines, I'm Riley Smith. On behalf of Mark Magnuson and Dustin Huffman, we thank you for watching. This has been Ag Matters PM.